All right, No Shave Man Cave fans. This one here actually is going to start right in the middle of a conversation. We ended our podcast on the best matches, and Jared and I started talking about some other stuff and other matches we like. So I decided to hit record. I apologize, I missed the beginning of our conversation, but it's some good content. I wanted to put it out there as a bonus feature. So I hope you all enjoy it. It's going to start in the middle of a conversation. You should be able to pick up on what we're talking about and just a little insight into the knowledge Jared has in his brain about wrestling. I hope you enjoy it. It's going to start now.
They were fighting for their version of the Intercontinental title.
Yep.
And that was like the first, maybe not the first, but pretty close to the first time that the ladders were used like that.
Oh, yeah. Talking about the Shawn Michaels Scott Hall one, right? Yeah. That was a SummerSlam, wasn't it?
It might have been. I don't even think it was a major.
I don't remember.
Yeah, it almost seems like it was a Monday night or something. And
yeah,
like seeing the ladders being used. The first match when we talked about doing this was the Road Warriors against the Fabulous Ones. That was like the first time because the Fabulous Ones had been on such a roll, and they had just gotten through a couple of feuds with the Midnight Express and the Rock and Roll Express, and then the Road Warriors came in and just buzzsawed them. And if you like gory, the Kurt Hennig and Scott Hall in AWA, that match, Kurt Hennig goes up and over the top rope, and as he did, he hooked his arm in, and the top and middle rope are around his neck.
Oh wow!
And
was it a botch or?
I'm not sure, but it was like Kurt Hennig was busted wide open, like the entire length of his forehead. He was completely busted open, and they just wore him out.
Yeah, I had a few and I was looking at some of the Inoki matches, and it was hard. But just to me, that's the one that kept sticking in. Because, like Bret Hart, again, I could give you a plethora of Bret Hart matches. I can give you a plethora of Kenny Omega. Hell, there's a match where Kenny Omega takes on an 8-year-old girl that's actually a pretty good match.
There was, who kept saying, was it, it might have been on Busted Open, and Tommy Dreamer said something to the effect of, he could have a 5-star match with a broomstick.
Yeah, I think he did.
But another match that popped up was WrestleMania 3 with Randy Savage and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Oh, yes. I watched that recently because we were doing let's talk about reviewing those. Right. And I remember Ricky the Steamboat doing the top rope stuff, and the commentators, Gorilla Monsoon, saying, I've never seen anything like that before. I'm like, man, that's that was
and then you go back later, and they were both so methodical, I guess is the word.
Yeah.
And they worked on that match and worked on that match and worked on that match almost ad nauseum, and they weren't really that good of friends to begin with, just because Randy Savage at that point was really difficult to deal with.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a really good one. But I think with name recognition, I think yours is a really, really good and now, like if you were to say any match with Ric Flair, everyone goes, oh, I know who Ric Flair is.
Yeah, because of the conscience there. Yeah, but because of some of that controversy too.
Right, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I was thinking like, oh man, I can go back to Mid-South days. But I think if I were trying to do some so the other thing, I know I might have way overthought this, but I'm introducing a new fan.
Right.
The attention span of people nowadays is not as small.
Right.
And I think some of those old grind them out matches that,
you would have lost them, just like the aesthetic, like you're looking at it, you're like, there's 50 people in the studio.
Right.
And no, I think the stage that they were on, it being a huge spectacle, everybody knows what WrestleMania is.
Right.
So it's like, there's people sitting around getting ready to watch the Royal Rumble because they know what the Royal Rumble is, and they won't watch any other, just like,
that's like me. For a while there, I wasn't watching WWE. I'd just turn on the premium live events, and then that was it. I also, it's funny because now we're sitting here talking, I'm like, man, you could look at matches like the Necro Butcher versus Samoa Joe, or Samoa Joe, AJ Styles from Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
The Briscoes, Jay Lethal and Jay Briscoe from Ring of Honor. Like, there's so much really good wrestling out there that it's hard to pick one. It's hard to pick but again, those, like I said, there's all that intricate stuff, storytelling, and all that if you haven't followed wrestling before, and it's just first time you're seeing it. I think the two we gave were good because the tag team match, a lot of action and everything. I can't. I'd have to watch that SummerSlam one again. I'm pretty sure they did the package in front of it, like what led to the feud, which is always good. WWE's always been really good at that. Yeah, I'm sitting here thinking I keep coming up with other matches too, like Sergeant Slaughter versus the Iron Sheik, where the Sheik busted him open for real because he had them stupid curly things on his feet. Yeah, it's interesting. You almost could put together a playlist.
Yeah, the I Quit match. So like I don't like I told you before, I don't like a lot of blood, and I'm just too much for me now. But the really good, a really, really good one would be the I Quit match with Magnum TA and Tully Blanchard for the World TV title.
Oh, I'd have to go back and watch it. I don't really have seen that match.
That was it was in a cage, and Baby Doll threw a chair in, and Tully broke the bottom piece off of it and was about to use it on Magnum TA, and Magnum TA ended up getting the piece of the chair and was just like gouging at him, and he finally...
Oh, really? Is that on the network?
Yeah, I think so.
I'll have to check that one out. I went through a phase where I was watching nothing but death matches, like the old, the ones in Japan with like the electric, like the stick the stuff in your head. Some of that stuff was real. The one that popped in my head, you said the I Quit match though, was the Rocket Mankind one, where he's beating him over the head with a chair, and back then they just unprotected chair shots to the head like crazy. Because I remember watching, what was the movie, Beyond the Mat, where it showed his family in the audience while that was happening. And I just remember going, like, that really affected me. I can't go back and watch that match after I know what his family went through. But that was a hell of an I Quit match.
Yeah, you see some of the chair shots now, like, they're real, like, cautious and, but then Gunther got popped. He caught.
Oh, did he?
Forehead or something, like maybe up over the ear. He was busted open pretty good.
The hard way out.
Oh, yeah. So it was, that was, wow. There's some of the matches, like with when he was Kevin Steen.
Yep. And El
Generico. He had some awesome matches, and to see him now with like his facials and the way he sells and everything, dude used to wear a mask.
Yeah.
You're like, and that's what one of the guys, Top Flight, the AEW tag team, the younger brother, he used to wear a mask. So like, when he first started out, so to see him like selling and stuff, sort of green on that, but yeah, that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here going back through my experiences and matches. Like, there's so many good wrestlers too. It's a great thing to get involved in, like, especially if you really enjoy it and get into it in the storylines. And we're watching the prep for the Rumble, and I'm watching Sami Zayn and his facials and like the bloodline stuff. And Roman Reigns has come a long way too.
Yeah,
he is definitely, that guy has come into his element.
Yeah.
Because I remember the times when everybody just wanted to boo him and hate him, and now he's fantastic.
It's hard to believe when the WWE was trying to babyface push him down our throat.
Oh, yeah.
And to the point where he hasn't been pinned in 2 years.
Yep.
The only match he lost was a tag team match with Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
And he's like, I didn't lose, y'all.
Yeah, it's Sam. I just thought of another one I could have talked about, John Cena versus The Rock. I don't remember I think that was WrestleMania 2. Not WrestleMania 2. One of the WrestleManias. And I remember that one. And I remember same kind of thing as the Hogan one. I don't think it was as powerful because I don't remember it as distinctly. But that's another one too. Very big name brand people. Yeah, have you seen Peacemaker yet? His show? Oh my gosh, that intro fun like
it's very funny.
So good.
Yeah, he's I didn't think he would do as well as he's doing. Like, I thought he'd get a couple of commercial bit art here and there, and then he's done like multiple movies. Now his TV show just got renewed.
Yep,
he's working on a couple other movies. So
he's pretty funny too. I get it. I enjoy him.
And his Twitter and Instagram, he just posts like random photos or random postings with no context, and you're just like, why? Like, he just posted a photo not that long ago of a frog or a toad. I don't know the difference of it. Like, why? Like, what are you thinking about? You're like,
I want to take this picture of this frog.
That's all you got.
Who knows?
Man, that's good stuff. Yeah, then you can have like, try to look up John Cena and JBL for the U.S. title, right when JBL went away because his back was so bad at that point.
Well, and then you could always go to the Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio matches. If you really wanted some who went to Guerrero and Rey Mysterio, Ultimo Dragon, Like there's so many like archives of just great stuff out there that if I brought a new person in, I could definitely, after they get in and get hooked, give them a library of stuff to watch. Watch a Booker T right here, him in Harlem Heat. Some of the matches in WCW is so much.
His feud, Booker T's feud with Stone Cold, have him watch the match in the grocery store.
That'd be another cool thing to look at is like feuds that to bring a new wrestling fan in, like the start to end of a feud, especially the ones that have like real story, like realistic stories behind them, like Owen and Brett. What a great feud. And then that match, like the whole time, the first time they fought, all leading up to that, I'm not going to fight you. I'm not going to fight you. I'm not going to fight you. And they even get to the match and Brett's like holding back. And then I forget exactly. I'm going to have to watch that one again. There's something, Owen does something a little dirty or something. And you can see Brett just turn it on and just, and then even when he pins him, you can tell he didn't really want to.
Yeah, I was for Christmas, I was going to get you I think it was an 8x10, and it was Lou Hebner with Bret Hart and Owen.
Oh, and they were both,
all three of them had signed it.
Oh,
wow. And Bret had Owen in the figure 4.
That's cool.
Lou was looking forward, so the photo was coming this way. And they were both like,
it'd be going right up there in the man cave. Yeah, I'd hang it up. Oh, Stone Cold Bret Hart. The iconic match, man, with the blood running down his face. That was such a match. That made Stone Cold.
Stone Cold against The Rock, when The Rock beat Stone Cold and Stone Cold went away. They
who talked about that?
Or maybe that was on the documentary. Stone Cold did the was talking about it, and The Rock said Stone Cold was so gracious the way he treated him on the way out. And nobody else knew that was his last match. And it was just like, he pushed the referee away and they talked for, 30, 45 seconds or whatever. And you're just like, that is too much.
So, other than gimmick matches would be a good one to go forward to.
But Donnybrook,
if they recently had, like I said, the library you could build of great matches. Part of the podcast that's scary is what we could really start diving into.
Yeah.
Like, top 5 matches. Golly. You can even go, let's talk about top 5 New Japan matches in 1999, or, we can start putting that kind of stuff up on Twitter. As I'm sitting here, I'm going, man, like some of that because, that New Japan thing now, I'm going through and watching. Like I watched Andre and Hogan in New Japan. Totally all new respect for both of them.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they could go. And yes, it's old style. It's older style. It's a little slower. It's not, flippy flips, as Braun Strowman likes to call it, but I enjoyed it. And then even looking at Inoki and Shibata and just some of the old Japanese stuff, or Shibata's not old, but the Shibata, like just all that, it's so impressive. And the things that you start finding when you really start digging. And then there's some independent matches, too, that you can find that are amazing. Believe it or not, Orange Cassidy has a few out there that are just blow away. Like, it's a different style.
Yeah.
But
it makes sense why QT and Cody and all those guys saw something in them and brought them in and said, hey,
And Danhausen, right? Like, he's this big, goofy character. But if you go back and, like, watch some of his matches, he's pretty damn good. He's small, so he works on the independent circuit, and he's a little small, too small for, I think, AEW even, but it works. And then, there's so much out there. We could do a whole podcast on Bret Hart matches and Shawn Michaels match, and then debate whether you're a Bret Hart or a Shawn Michaels fan, because, that was always are you a Bret or a Shawn guy? Notice none of our matches say Triple H. I think he had some good matches in him, though. I tell you, I think it was underrated. It was better than... Well, maybe not underrated at the time. I think he was better than I realized until I went back and watched some of his stuff, was Batista.
Yeah.
I remember when I was watching it thinking, he's just another big dude who throws people around. I recently went back and watched Batista, Daniel Bryan, and Randy Orton at WrestleMania, the one where he won the title, where he had to beat Triple H earlier, and then it was a triple threat main event, and he had his arm all taped up, and I watched that match, and I'm going, holy crap. Batista's pretty good. His selling, some of the stuff he was doing, I'm like, all right. Like, so now I want to go back through and watch some old Batista stuff.
I just put a poll up. Rock versus Hogan, WrestleMania 18, or Dudley's versus Edge and Christian.
Hey, No Shave fans, I hope you enjoyed that very candid conversation between Jared and I. You know where to follow us, No Shave Man Cave. We're on Apple, We are on Amazon Music. We are also on iHeartRadio. Share it with your friends. Leave us a comment in the comments on Apple and let us know what you think so we can get better. Thanks, guys. I'll see you on the floor.